everybody. Happy Wednesday night. Sorry it's kind of bright in here. I have this little ring light thing and it's really, really bright, but I don't know what else to do, so whatever. It is what it is. So I wanted to come on here live. I did all these videos on Instagram stories, and I'm going to start an Instagram TV one day this week. I'm going to start doing a series called #Motherhood Uncensored, because why not? I have a lot to talk about my kids, and I told my kids' friends to just don't watch. But and excuse no makeup. It is a no makeup day today because my face is breaking out because of something I used. So whatever. Anyway, hey everybody who's joined me. So I wanted to talk to y'all about something that I posted on my Instagram that I did, and I was talking to my husband about, and then I was telling my kids about it. So what I did the other day, I have been unfollowing, I think that's how you put it on Facebook, people who have negative posts all the time. And I just decided one day that I didn't want to see people's negativity. I can choose what I see on my feed, and I don't want to see their negative thoughts. I don't want to see their negative posts all the time. If you don't have good things to say sometimes, I don't want to see it. It's not that I don't like those people. It's not that I'm not maybe friends with those people. I feel like what I look at on my feed should be positive. And so what I was telling my kids and my husband is that I feel like you're in control of your universe. You know, you've heard your vibe attracts your tribe. And so my tribe I want to see on my Facebook is happy. And that's not to say that it's all unicorns and rainbows. You know, everybody's life is not perfect, but it doesn't have to be negative either. It can be good. It can be positive. It can be encouraging. It can be uplifting. It can be, I ate pizza today, whatever. It's not negative. And if y'all know, I post food all the time. Jimmy Betancourt always comments on my food. That's what I love. I love to cook. I cook every single night, unless I'm lucky enough to go out to eat one night. But I just decided I didn't want to see negativity. And so I was explaining to my kids, I was like, you get to choose what you're surrounded in. So I talk about my universe all the time. And I know that sounds very spiritual and very witchcrafty. That's not what I mean. Just what you surround yourself with, your universe, what you live in and what you see and what you interact with every day is your universe. And I don't want negativity in mine. And so I just decided one day, I had seen a lot of negativity from people / persons, and I was tired of seeing it. And so I was like, whatever. It serves me no purpose. If that's what you want to post, that's awesome, because you're not speaking to me, and that's okay. But for me, it just was not what I wanted to see. And so I'm trying to teach my kids that their life is the same way. So if there's a person that's negative to you, or they don't bring something positive to your life, or they don't enhance your life, I tell them all the time, your friends should enhance your life. Your friends should not make you feel bad. Your friends or your spouse or whoever it is, I'm not just talking about friends, it could be your mailman. Don't interact with your mailman if they're mean. You know what I mean? Like, you get to choose who you interact with and how that goes. And so if it's someone that you don't want to interact with, then don't. Walk away from it. It doesn't have to be rude. It doesn't have to be ugly. I guarantee half the people that people have unfollowed, and I may be included, people may get tired of seeing my life. That's okay with me. I'm obviously not your person, and that's okay too. And so I just was telling my kids that, you get to dictate how things go in your life. And so sometimes my husband, because we work across the hall from each other in our house, we both work from home. And so he'll come in here and I'm like, no negative vibes in my universe. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to see it. And he, of course, starts laughing because he's like, you're Miss Sunshine and I'm Debbie Downer or whatever. But I just decided that at this point in my life, there's enough negativity in life in general. There are sad things that happen. There are bad things that happen. There are mean people in this world. There's news that nobody wants to see all the time. There's just a lot of crap talking on social media, and none of that is not what happened at all. That's not what I'm meaning to say. It was almost freeing. It was like I gave myself permission to let that go. I gave myself permission to not have to see the things I didn't want to see anymore. And so I wanted my kids to understand the same thing. If someone is being ugly to them, or if I'm being negative to them, I expect them to say, Mommy, are filling my universe with negativity, and I don't want to do that. I want to always be uplifting to them. Honest, but uplifting. Don't get me wrong. I am everything that's honest, but I hope that was Minecraft in Kendall's office. Otherwise, a pipe just fell. That was a weird noise. Anyway, so I want to be that positive light in their life, but I also want them to tell me and keep me in check if I'm not being that positive person and spreading, negativity in their life too. And so it's funny because Mackenzie at dinner, she was like, "Mommy, you make us sound like these well-rounded, well-educated kids on Instagram." Because I mostly talk about them on Instagram. If you don't follow me on there, I usually talk about them on my stories. And that's not it. Again, they're not unicorns, although Kendall would like to be a unicorn/mermaid, really. If that you could put the two together, she'd think that was fantastic. But, and Mackenzie would live in Hogwarts. So there you go. There's that. We live in a fantasy world. I'm kidding. But they do like make-believe. All right, back to what I'm saying. So, what was I saying? That's what happens when you get sidetracked and it's late and you're drinking caffeine to keep you awake. Oh my, that's terrible. All kinds of distractions going on. What was I telling you? Oh, they're kids. They're normal kids. They're normal teenager, teen, tween, whatever. They're normal kids. They're not perfect. They do dumb stuff. They make dumb decisions just like we all do. But they have to learn along the way. And of course, we try to give them positivity and encouraging and uplifting messages. And I read a whole lot. If y'all don't watch my Insta stories either, I posted a ton of books. And you can see behind me, I have nothing but books. And a lot of them are like development and self-care and self-help and not that I have anything going on up here weird. I just like that kind of book. I like a book that teaches you how to be outwardly positive or as good as you feel on the inside or whatever your case may be. I just enjoy those books. So I feel like if I'm going to read that message, why not share that message with them? But that doesn't mean that they're not normal kids. They don't, they make mistakes. They are living life just like every other normal kid. They're good kids, but like I said in my stories earlier, we were hard on them when they were little. That's why I listen to them, Jimmy. I can't read. Audible is my friend. So when they were little, we didn't take any junk off of them. We were very hard on them, and they were not very good kids when they were little. That's why we only have 2, because they were hard. But now they're good. They knew the rules. They know the rules now. They know what's expected of them. And if they get out of line very quickly, I can say, that's not cool. We don't do that. I don't talk to you that way. You don't talk to me that way. Whatever the case may be. But they're not perfect. So I don't want them to ever look like they are, angel kids, because they're not. But they are good kids. For now. Who knows what'll happen in the future? Maybe we're doing something wrong right now that they're good right now, and then they're going to turn into heathens when they get older. Who knows? But for now, they're good kids. They're not unicorns. But so I don't ever want to make them or them to think that I'm making them out to be like these great, wonderful, well-rounded children or whatever. They're still learning as they go, and so are we. However, I do try to fill them with positive, and I always tell them a million other things that we can get to that later. But the point of this one was that that they get to choose who fills their world, and we don't always get to choose the circumstance we're in, but they get to choose how they react to that circumstance. So there's sometimes that they get put in a situation that's uncomfortable, or someone has said something negative to them, or whatever the case may be. They get to choose how they handle that and how the outcome is. And I want them to understand that. So anyway, I just thought I would explain that, because I explained it on Insta stories, but if you're not on Instagram, then you wouldn't get to hear it. And I think it's good information. I have had lots of people message me today, which is really funny because I don't get a lot of Instagram messages at all. And I've had lots of people message me and tell me today that was helpful for them, that they're going to pass it on to their kids. And I just feel like if I have good information, why not pass it on to someone else? If I learned something in the books that I read, why not pass it on to someone else? Because someone else may need to hear it. Just like hey, let me tell you what I learned today. I'm listening to, I don't remember the name of the book because I just started listening to it today, but it's by Brene Brown. And she said, we cannot give our children what we don't have. And I was like, amen. If you don't have a strong foundation, if you don't have confidence, if I don't know who is owing and laughing at me, Hopefully it's good, because God knows what I've said already. But if you don't have confidence, you can't give it to your children. If you don't have a good, healthy mind, you can't pass that on. If you're negative, you can't pass on good stuff to your kids, because you're constantly negative. And so it's a joke around my house that I am like Polly Pocket, Miss Sunshine. And that's okay with me. If that's how I'm known, that's okay with me. I'd much rather you see me that way than, my glass is completely empty all the time. My cup runneth over all the time. And it's not because it does. Let me make that clear too. It's not because everything is wonderful in the Butler household. We have normal lives. We have stresses. We have things that go on. But I choose to see the good in most things. Well, pretty much all things. I mean, whatever. But I choose to look to the brighter side of things. I look to be positive in all of those things. And so that doesn't mean that crappy things don't happen, because crappy things happen all the time to everybody. I'm not any different. But I just choose to see a different side of it. And that's what I want my kids to see, that there are two sides. You don't always have to look to the negative. You don't always have to be Debbie Downer. You can look to the positive, and in hopes that something positive happens, because I believe if you put negative vibes out in your universe, negativity is going to come back to you. If you fill your body with junk, you're going to feel like junk. If you surround yourself with friends that don't lift you up, you're going to gravitate towards that negativity. So you get to control all of that. And so I just want my kids to understand that they get to control their universe. Even though they're kids, they still have their own lives and their own world that goes on that doesn't have anything to do with me. Yes, we're involved in it, but it doesn't have anything to do with me and their friends and stuff. And so I just want them to understand, and maybe they can be a positive light for their friends to teach their friends the same thing. So Kindle's creeping on me over here, see who I'm talking to. Anyway, that's all I had to say tonight. I just wanted to share that because I shared it over there and I felt like it needed to be shared over here. And so to end all of that rambling and all of that stuff is your Facebook and your Instagram and whatever social media you're on is no different. And this light is super bright, y'all. Maybe it's just making my face look really, really good. So your social media feed is the same way. You get to choose what you see on it. And your Instagram, you get to choose what you see. If it's not something you like, if it's not your person, if it's not your whatever, unfollow, defriend, that's all I have to say about that. You get to choose. All right. Have an awesome night. Thanks for hanging out with me. See ya.